Hello mga ka-drive! Ito na naman ang mga tips para sa ligtas na pagmamaneho ngayong araw.
Before we hit the road, let's start with some basics that contribute to making it easier to keep your vehicle centered in the lane. First, adjust your seat so you have a clear view of the road and can easily reach the pedals and the steering wheel. Also, adjust your side and rear view mirrors to minimize blind spots and allow you to see the lanes clearly. Then imagine your steering wheel as an analog clock face and place your hands at the 9 and 3 o'clock positions on the steering wheel. This provides better overall steering control and smoother adjustments. When your hands are on the wheel, imagine them as weights pulling down on both sides of it. With your hands at 9 and 3, the weight of your hands is evenly balanced on the rim of the wheel, with neither hand exerting more downward pull than the other. When you make small steering adjustments, your hands are far enough apart that they will stay fairly counterbalanced. But when they're at 10 and 2 or 11 and 1 and you turn the wheel one direction or the other, they can possibly pull the wheel more in the direction of the turn than you want them to, or quicker than you might want them to, because the weight of them is closer together, so it acts more together as a single weight pulling down on one side of the steering wheel. So 9 and 3 gives you better control and precision when making your steering adjustments. And slight adjustments are what you're looking for when you're trying to keep centered in your lane. When steering, you want to avoid jerky movements. Smooth, gradual adjustments are the key. A gentle hand on the wheel reduces the chances of you making sudden lane shifts. Some drivers prefer the 8 and 4 position, which is better for driver fatigue on long trips, but I don't feel this is the ideal overall position for gripping the steering wheel, as 9 and 3 allows you to also quickly make big steering adjustments if necessary, such as when trying to avoid an accident up ahead of you. Now imagine your lane is divided into 3 parts: left, center, and right. Your goal is to keep your vehicle right in the middle of the center portion of the lane. To do that, learn to focus more on the road out ahead of you instead of what's to the side or directly in front of your vehicle. Keeping your eyes on the road up ahead is crucial. The way our brains work, we tend to steer in the direction we're looking. If you're looking at something off to the right of the road as you're driving, you'll tend to drive more towards the right side of the lane instead of the center of the lane. Same with the left side. If you keep looking to the left and focus on the left, you may tend to steer to the left. Your steering input should be based on what you see up ahead. So when you're driving, look ahead with your eyes centered down the road, right down the middle of the road, with your nose pointing straight ahead. Your target to aim for when driving is the center of the road out in front of you. So look as far down your lane as you can towards the horizon. Sometimes that's not very far because there may be another vehicle in front of you. But look as far ahead as you can, especially on an interstate or highway. Hopefully at least several seconds down the road. Say 10 to 12 seconds up ahead of you if possible. But don't continually stare at the lines on either side of you. Let them act as kind of a funnel for your vision. Funnel vision, but not tunnel vision. You should always keep your eyes moving so you're aware of what's going on around you. But make quick glances and return your eyes to the center of the road. So keep your gaze focused on where you want to go, and your brain will tend to help you stay centered. When you're in a construction zone like this and there are barricades, cones, or markers all around you, first be sure and slow down, and then apply the same principles as before. Look at where you need to go and keep aiming the focus of your eyes on the road up ahead. But because it is a construction zone, you should also quickly glance at the barricades on either side of you from time to time, just to make sure you're staying far enough away from them. Look quick and then look forward. The same goes for a situation like this, with lots of vehicles on your left that might be distracting you. This can tend to make you want to look to the left instead of straight ahead. But use your peripheral vision to make sure you're not straying to the side, and keep centered in your lane by funneling your vision down the road ahead. This also helps you when steering around curves and turns, making it easier to stay centered while turning the steering wheel. On curves, you may tend to want to just look at the edges of the lane to make sure you're not crossing out of your lane on either side. But you should still focus on the center of the lane a little ways in front of you. Slow down if necessary to help you stay centered, and aim your focus to slightly around the curve in front of you towards the center of the road up ahead as you drive on the curving road. Next up, a trick that many skilled drivers use is reference points. And that involves finding a point or points on your vehicle that you know line you up with the center of a road. In this case, I went to a parking lot and parked in a parking space, and I made sure I was in the very center of that parking space. And I checked on that by getting out of my vehicle and walking around and making sure I was equally distant from each of the parking lines. And then I got back in my vehicle, got in my driving position, put on my seatbelt, and then looked out through the windshield to find a spot on my vehicle that lined up with the middle of the lane in front of me. And from my vantage point in this vehicle, it turned out to be this far right corner of the vent on my dash. So I know when I'm driving down the road, if I look at that corner of the vent on my dash and look ahead, and it appears to be between the middle of the lines on whatever road I'm on, then I'm actually centered in that road. And that reference point would work on any highway, on a country road, or in a road in a suburb. It would all point to the center of whatever road I'm on. And I also know in this vehicle, if I'm on the highway, that if the left line is going through the lower left corner of my windshield and the right line is just above that center bump on my dash, then I'm centered in the road. Find reference points like that for your vehicle, and you can use them to help you stay centered. But only look at those reference points briefly, and then get your eyes back on the road and look towards the horizon. Many modern vehicles come equipped with lane departure warning systems. They alert you if you start drifting out of your lane unintentionally.